What's going on, CSBA? It's your girl, Superwoman. I'm in the booth with Dick Dicky. What's going on?
What's happening?
About time you get this picture on there.
Yeah, I'm a little camera shy.
You're
Just a
right.
tad bit.
Well,
Just a little bit.
yeah, first we're going to start off with some sad news. CSBA lost one of their players, Vernon Walker the fourth. So we're just going to start off by playing tribute to him with this short clip.
Comes off a screen, kicks to the corner. Walker, three-pointer up and drills it. Walker having a really good start for Providence.
Vernon Walker, the fourth, 2-0-2.
Vernon Walker started off really hot. I think he had probably all 9 of those points in the first half, maybe the first quarter.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, that was tragic to hear about. You never want to hear those kind of stories happen. No matter if this is a virtual thing, we all get close to each other, we all know each other. So it's definitely a loss for the community, and hopefully nothing like this happens anytime soon. But, you guys be safe out there. And yeah, just look out for each other, and we'll keep them in memory though. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna get into this interview. We got Shaquille O'Neal's cousin Khalil O'Neal in the booth with us. What's up, Khalil?
Yo, what's good? What's good?
So I definitely love the name. You a big behind freshman, 7'3", 240 pounds, out of Mount Verde Academy, center for Iowa Hawkeyes. Tell us a little bit more about Khalil O'Neal.
But yeah, as you said, he's more or less a descendant in the O'Neal family, straight out of LA. He's watched the Lakers like a lot, especially during Shaq's days. So in his first couple years of him playing, he used to play a lot like him. During middle school, going into high school, he wanted to do a little bit more stuff that Shaq couldn't. The main thing that he couldn't do was be able to shoot. So that was the one thing he wanted to do to stand out.
Yeah, you've been putting up some good numbers. Iowa's been putting up a show. Do you think they can keep the momentum? And keep in mind, you got a Michigan counterpart in here.
But yeah, definitely think they can keep the momentum going forward.
I mean, y'all got some tough challenges. Michigan, Ohio
Right.
State, Michigan State. That's a tough conference for real. But we all know Coach Pack's got something probably up his sleeve for the rest of this season. But as far as your guy goes, how do you think your guy's been performing?
I feel as though he's been performing on the level at which I thought he would have. I wouldn't think he was gonna be more like a star, just more like a role player, just come off the bench or start, just get you a couple points, a couple blocks here and there, something just to help the team win.
Yeah. I mean, that's good to recognize that not everybody is going to be the star. Just having those role players is very important. But is it safe to say Iowa's going to win the Big Ten?
Oh man, is it safe to say? Oh man, the Big Ten is extremely top heavy, so I wouldn't consider it a lock, but definitely the chances are strong there.
Well, who's your biggest competitor right now?
I'm not too sure yet. We haven't faced the bigger competitors yet, so I'm not.
Oh, you hear that? They ain't faced nobody yet.
No, but it ain't like that though. But
yeah, what you gotta say about that, Dicky?
I mean, they still have to face the three-headed monster that was at the top. I mean, they play Michigan this week, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and Khalil, one more question for you. As a freshman, any words of wisdom to the high school players that's coming up? They're going to be in the same shoes as you are next season, coming in as a freshman. Any good words of encouragement for them?
just live it out in the moment. Like just be there for your team. Go out, support your team every night. Especially like going into like the college recruitment. Just be active. This happens like once in every career. So it's just a fun way in order to get into the CSBA. That's all I can really say on that.
All right, we appreciate all those words. Appreciate the interview. Feel free to stick around if you want to. Me and Dicky going to go into the recap of Week 5 action. We had some great games. We're going to first start off with Villanova versus... No, we're not. My bad. First, we're going to start off with the Spartans versus Purdue. Yet again, another blowout for Purdue. 2 weeks in a row. 100-59, Michigan State comes on top, led by Glass. 20 points, 2 steals. Braylon Banks, 19 points, 6 assists. Harris with an outstanding game of 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Just
it's 8 for 8 shooting too. He was perfect from the field.
I mean,
great Harris
game
had a
for him.
game.
That's
that was
definitely
very
like player of the week.
Top 3 scorers. Possibly. I mean, they're top 3 scorers. Combined to miss 5 shots. They shot 24 for 29.
Yeah, Purdue's
They're
top
3 scorers.
Purdue's top was Alonzo Benjamin. He had 13 points. Davis had 12 and 10 rebounds. I mean, he showed off the last time they played.
Yeah.
That's their star player. They're definitely going to have to figure out how else they can get him involved, not just on the rebounds, but hopefully a little bit better.
Gage Ziegler, he had a poor shooting night. Alonzo Benjamin, he shot 5 for 5 coming off the bench as well. He provided a spark off the bench. It's just those starters couldn't get it going against that tough Michigan State defense.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get going against them anyway. That next game, everybody thought Alabama was going to win this one. LSU pulls it out 80-62. Simons doing Simon's thing, 17 points. Frazee with 15 points and 3 steals. Andrews with 13 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. On the other hand, for Alabama, CJ Mack only had 11 points in that one. I think that really hurt him. Bobby Jackson ended up with 10 points, and Riley Hunter with 10 points.
Yeah, it was a combination of Bobby Jackson not getting it going in the starting lineup, and then that bench unit just got ran, by a much deeper bench of the LSU.
Yeah, why wouldn't you start Bobby Jackson?
Bobby Jackson started. I'm saying he didn't get it going. No, I'm saying it was a combination of him not getting it going in the starting unit and then the bench not performing, not being as deep as LSU's bench, because you got Mason Rivers off the bench for LSU, Elijah Fraze, Brad
It is
McFadden. All
deep.
three of those guys can start in other teams. So when you look at them, and then like you said, Fraze had 15 points off the bench, 6 for 7 shooting. So he was getting it going with three for three from downtown. So
Yeah.
having that off the bench, that 15 points off the bench, that helped keep them from Alabama from coming back in it.
Well, talk about another well-rounded team. Miami just dust the brakes off of Clemson, 97 to
Yeah,
48.
veteran defense.
You know what? Gus, he putting up 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. He's got my vote for Player of the Year already. Delano, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. And even Yao got in there, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals. I think he
Yeah,
should be Player of the Week. That's just an
yeah,
outstanding stat
yeah,
line for him.
for sure. He had a great stat line.
Yeah, for Clemson, Patterson ended with 18 points, Rice with 8 points, 6 rebounds, and Burgundy with 7 points, 5 rebounds. Like I said, Miami's just a well-rounded team. There's days that some of those guys don't have those kind of games, and they still can put up numbers. So they're just showing everybody in the league that from their starters to the bench can play. All right, next matchup, Gonzaga versus Beavers. Gonzaga wins this one 92 to 67. Stern put up 18 points, a rebound, and 2 assists. Davison, 14 points, 4 assists. Mills, 14 points, 15 rebounds. I thought that was a glitch, but he be on them boards, and he pitched in 3 assists.
Yeah, he was pressing the glass heavy against Oregon. Oregon State bigs had no chance in this one. Even though they did have some scoring, they got players on Oregon State that are high volume shooters. So, they shot at at a 44% clip. And if you're not playing good defense, you can get behind in a hurry. And Gonzaga plays really efficient. You see Sterling Stern 8 for 10. Rocky Davidson 6 for 10. Mills 6 for 9. They shot it very efficient, which made it easier, for them to get out to a big lead. The biggest lead was 25 points. They dominated bench points. The list goes on. It just didn't work in their favor for Oregon State in that game. Because, they shot it better from downtown. Like, if they would have continued to get their shots from outside, because, they were working it, getting 8 for 18 from 3, but it was just those shots inside and, in the mid-range that wasn't just dropping for those high-volume shooters.
Yeah, and for the Beavers, Rowe got 13 points, Hughes 11, GP3 with 10. I mean, it was already hard. You're going against Gonzaga, to me, number one team.
Yeah. The biggest thing and I took away from that was Alaga. They held him 1 for 6 shooting. You got to get some production out of him. He's one of those guards that they got him. He was Gary Payton III, that 3-headed guard. I watched him and commentated games and then did play-by-play for those games. And watching that 3-headed monster on a good day, them guys can be very dangerous.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that Pac-12 a little bit later, but let's go on to that next game. Arkansas upsets Florida. I don't even know if you want to call it an upset, even though I said that because a lot of us picked Florida.
We picked Florida?
Yeah, we all picked Florida.
Because I fuck with Florida better. I just fuck with the niggas on Florida more.
I think that's what it is,
guys,
too.
Sorry.
I feel bad because, Gordo thinks I give him a hard time, but they came out here and proved CSBA wrong. 94-71, big win for them.
Big win, yeah.
Matt can even be in that talk of Player of the Week. He had 25 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. Bueller put in 15 points, 2 rebounds, 10 assists, so he was just going off. Cross
Bueller
with
did good.
13.7 rebounds. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Arkansas lit
Cross
it
came
up.
out. Yeah, Cross being the third scorer, he's usually used to being the first scorer on Arkansas, and then I think he came off the bench, and that's the biggest thing for Coach Gordo is finding that identity, having those two bigs and J Mac and Cross, and then finding other ways to distribute scoring. They thought Steve Carter, he's one of those guards that is coming into the sophomore season really good. He shot it pretty well. He had 11, and it was on the boards, had 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So, getting those guys going can definitely, see that this Arkansas team can be dangerous.
Yeah, and what do you say to Florida? I mean, King had 17 points,
Yeah.
Gills had 10, Dudley had 9 points and 8 rebounds. I mean, I just feel like Florida just has some great pieces. We don't even see Doc Boone's name on these top 3. It's just players
Doc
like
Boone
that
had
need to get
game.
involved.
Yeah, Doc Boone. It's a way to distribute the ball among those mouths. I mean, for the game, they only had 12 assists to 30 assists that Arkansas had. They got to distribute the ball more. They got to get that ball working around and get to those guys so that they can get some shots. I mean, Doc Boone only shot the ball 6 times. Earl Flint only shot the ball 3 times. You got to get those guys the ball and work them more shots. I mean, Moses King got his 14 shots up. His 17, 8 for 14. That's you got to have somebody else to back him up. Giles was shot 4 for 12. So it was very inefficient shooting from him that, took away shots from other guys. And he's got to find a way to work it around Main, that backup point guard. The point guards, they combined for what? 14 points. I mean, your point guards got to get some more scoring. And for the assists, they had, 3 and 4 assists, total.
That's
the point
bad.
guards got to 4 assists between your 2 point guards. They got to be more dishing the ball out, getting those guys open.
Granted, Arkansas probably has some stellar defense in that one,
for
but it makes it really hard to pass that ball around. But you're gonna have to set some screens or something and get it going.
But the thing is, they didn't have that many turnovers. Both the point guards didn't turn the ball over for Florida, so the ball they're handling the ball well. They just gotta find guys off screens and get them the ball.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to the next one. Louisville 91, North Carolina 68. This is your old team. They just really been struggling these past couple of seasons. Rafis put it on him, put 23 points, 4 assists, and so did his brother Bo Diddle, 15 points, 8 rebounds. And, of course, David Ware showing off 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. For UNC, Scott had 16 points, 8 rebounds. Olaf with a quiet night with 10 points, but he did get 5 assists. And Norris with 10 points and 8 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, you said a quiet night from Olaf. Olaf shot the ball 18 times. I think that's the most attempts on the team. So he didn't really shoot it well, 4 for 18. He had a really, he struggled shooting in that game, and that really was the story. All their shooters just had struggled. And that's a big up to Louisville's defense and their guards playing great defense. Carr shot the ball 3 for 10. He's been struggling all season with his shot. So that's just the story of the season for Marquette. They're going to be hot or not up there shooting the ball as their shooters continue to struggle. But Michael Scott is a bright spot, 16 and 8. That's a good game from him. 7 for 13. We'd have loved for him to knock it down on maybe one or both of the threes that he missed. But he at least got one to go and maybe be a little more aggressive, get to the free throw line. Only was able to get to the line one time off an and one.
Well, Louisville is just a tough team. I think it's just going to make it hard to go against them. But here's another tough team, Iowa, 93 points versus 56 for Indiana. Indiana's been struggling too. They don't really have any go-to guys that they can really depend on. But Iowa, on the other hand, we just got off the phone with Khalil, and that's just he coming off the bench. What about the rest of the players? Paca, 18 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. Clowers, 13 points, and Martin with 13 points. For Indiana, Prophet had 12 points, 9 rebounds. E.J. Bailey had 10 points, and Quirk had 8 points. Yeah. I don't know what to say for Indiana. I think they definitely need some help. They need to find their identity too.
Yeah, I would say switch it up. Run different things that you think you might work, or to trick the defender, trick your opponent, because most times your opponent knows your three main scorers. If I'm playing Indiana, my way to scout them, being predictable. My way to scout them, they got Kendrick Prophet, E.J. Bailey, Tanner Quirk. Those three guys. If I find out where those guys are going to be and put my defender on them, you can kind of shut them down. But Prophet shot 6 for 7, 12 and 9. That's a good game from him. If you have other pieces like E.J. Bailey shot 4 for 15, I imagine he was guarded by Clowers, or not by Clowers, Martin, who's a great defender, for Iowa. And then Berto DeMore, I think he started at the point guard, if I'm not mistaken. And shut down Quirk, short 4 for 11. Sorry, but I think that's the biggest thing. And then Arnautovic off the bench, working against, I think it was Copley off the bench for, or not Copley, but what's his name, Maximin off the bench. Arnautovic struggled against him off the bench, shot 2 for 12. So that was for them, they got to find some, another, take them shots away from him. That's a high volume for a point guard, and you're not hitting it. You feel me? So.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to this next game. Tennessee, Kentucky. And this game was just so crazy. Kentucky led the entire time. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Tennessee just came out of nowhere and just put it on them. 84-75 was the score. I'm disappointed in Kentucky, and I ain't even on that team. Everybody in chat, Discord had them tied. I believe it was like 23-23, so they couldn't really figure out who was going to win this one. It looked like Kentucky was going to win it, and they couldn't pull it off.
Every time we rank Kentucky in the top 20, they find a way to lose next week.
Yep. I don't know what to say.
I was on the call for that one, and through 3 quarters, it was Kentucky game.
Yep.
4th quarter come, Tennessee runs, a weird lineup to even have to start the game. They started both their power forwards, which was weird. So they brought both of their centers off the bench. At one point, Chris McKinley was playing the point guard position as a center. That game was weird as hell. And the ending just goes along with it, where Kentucky just falls apart. They just get cold from the field. I mean, all game long, Wiersma was doing good. First half, Ant Thomas, he was killing it. First half. Yep. Second half, he was booty. He ended up shooting 5 for 14. That's not good. And then your boy, where is he at? Your boy Derringer, he missed a couple key threes he was wide open that they really could use. And Savage, he struggled shooting as well, 2 for 7. He did knock down a couple more shots. They could have, had a better game with Chesson, dude.
Connor said you disappointed in your mom.
I'm definitely disappointed.
I'm disappointed. I thought Kentucky had that one. They actually had it. Kane Elliott put up 19 points, 4 rebounds. Mufasa put up 12 points and 6 rebounds. And Jello even got 10 points in there, 7 rebounds. So they were on them boards like crazy. I think that's really what kept Kentucky from winning this game, because Kobe had a nice game. He had 19 points. Like you said, Ant Thomas.
That's 8 on the board. Yeah.
Thomas had 11 points and kind of quiet down in that second half, and Rowe put up 10 points.
Elliott was a big part of that run. He came in off the bench and was just able to keep up and actually, go back and forth with Ricky Rowe, because Ricky Rowe came off the bench, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not, I'll be forgetting. Yeah, he came off the
I think
bench. So, yeah. Yeah, they went up against each other no, he didn't go up against him off the bench, but, being that main focal point off the bench, he was a better, star off the bench than Ricky Rowe was, and they were both battling a little bit throughout that game in the end. And Elliott, a couple layups he made in transition is what pushed him over that edge, and it just was in their favor towards the end. And Kentucky got to shoot it better. 46%, 37% from three, 7 for 19 for three. They got to the free throw line. They were very aggressive. That's the one thing that I could take from that game that I liked, that they was very aggressive.
Yeah. Well, Kansas and Texas was a great game. It was a way better game than I thought it was going to be. Kansas did pull it off, 101-94. Green put up 31 points and 8 assists. Scar got in there with 15 points, 8 rebounds. Duncan had 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Luigi had 17 points. Fettleman with 16 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Brown, 13 points, 7 assists. I was actually very proud of Texas Longhorn.
Texas battled throughout this whole game.
Yeah, they battled that game. That was a really good game. They
even led at one point. They led about 8 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were battling with Kansas, but Kansas, behind Tez Green, he was insane. Him, Scar.
His hands were sweating in that one. That was a good one.
Man. Behind those veteran, those seniors, that's a squad full of seniors, 4 seniors: Tez Green, Jar Duncan, Michael Scarn, Josiah Weber, Brock Lee. A whole five guys are seniors on that squad. So they're not gonna go down without a fight to end the season.
Yeah, they trying to go out strong. Already got 2 championships, but I know you don't want to talk about this matchup.
You missed the game.
I know. I gotta go back. It's out of order.
It's all good.
Ohio State versus Michigan, 90-63.
Michigan hot garbage.
McAdoo put up 18 points, 9 rebounds. Cass with 16 points, 9 rebounds. Bolt with 13 points and 4 assists. Your guy put up 15 points, 5 rebounds. Did all he could do.
And I did what I could do.
Fletcher with 13 points and Ali with 10. I think that's just a really low number for him. We're used to seeing him.
I told y'all that Ali ain't shit. He wasn't. I was saying in chat, everybody swear Ali was the shit.
I like Ali. I like how he's got him built and stuff. I think.
He's good. He just had a bad game.
Yeah,
I'm behind my brothers. I'm behind my Michigan Blue to the end of the season. Till the end of my time. So I'm gonna be behind my guys, and we just struggle shooting. We didn't do good. Like our guys fucking suck shooting it. We sucked the ass out of the fucking line.
You were talking all that smack in chat. They had to shut you down real quick.
Lose. I already said we was gonna lose.
Yeah, you did.
But I ain't talking no smack. I knew we was gonna lose, and these guys didn't even.
You didn't pick them in your weekly pick 'em though. You picked Michigan to win, but
because
you do have to pick your
with
team
Michigan,
now. So
gotta do that. But I know I'm being real. If I'm being realistic, you really ask me. I'm not gonna. I don't take we can pick them serious. I just random flip a quarter.
Blake said Ohio State is winning the Big Ten.
If that's all that matters for you, it's all about who wins in March Madness.
Yeah, who wants to win the championship? Forget the or Big Ten championship.
You don't get a banner. You don't get a banner flown under your thing for. You can make a banner. It'll get lost.
Another great game that I expected was going to be a great game. Providence pulls this one off, 79-73 over Notre Dame. I remember in the last podcast I was debating on picking Notre Dame, but I felt like Providence defense would get them the win. Phillips ended with 19 points, Rosary with 13 points, 5 assists, Tripp with 11 points. Ringo Starr, is that his name, Ringo? Patrick Starr, my bad. 19 points.
Yeah.
Jackson with 13 points, and DJ with 13 points and 9 rebounds. It was a much needed win for Providence. Notre Dame definitely had a chance to get their name on the board.
Notre Dame was going to win. I mean, it was a back and forth fucking track meet. That game, them motherfuckers was running back and forth and back and forth.
For real.
Yeah, it was a track
like, what
meet.
defense?
Right. Yeah. And, Trey Jackson, he shot it. If he didn't hit a couple more shots, they lost about what, 8 or 6? 2 shots, 2 threes from him, or somebody else. Moss missed 2 threes. Kaiser missed 2. Melendez missed 1. I mean, they were 6 for 15. They shot it better for 3 than Providence was just better off the bench.
Leave me alone, Connor.
Big guys. What did he say?
He said Ringo Starr, he ain't from the Beatles.
But for Providence, Phillips did his thing. He did his thing off the bench. Rosary, you already know what type of game, Rosary can have. He's very sporadic in his, games. That he pops out sometimes for Providence, But it was all around good game. The bigs, Jammer Hammer, 8-8. Cameron, he's a freshman this year, doing well for them. Novacek, 7-7. Couple offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities, and that was the big key to the game.
What you doing, scratching them feet that you ain't putting no socks?
I was scratching my leg.
All right, next game, Baylor versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech continues to do their thing, 97-75. Locke had 25 points. Young had 21 points. McCormick had 14 points, 5 rebounds. I mean, it sounded like they were giving out 20s, the entire squad. Johnson for Baylor ended up with 23 points. Cheetah Bird with 13, and Chris with 11 points.
Yeah, Leroy Locke had a huge game. I think he was perfect.
That was probably his best game.
Yeah, best game of his life. He better not wash that jersey. Because he, had a great ass
that
game.
Ball and everything.
10 for 12. He was shooting it so. I don't think he missed a shot to the third quarter. He was really out there balling. So was Young. Young is a great player on Texas Tech, in my opinion. He's very good for them. And then just have McCormick to come off the bench, and then Craig Steele, he had 13 and 7s, and with 2 steals as well. He shot it very efficient too, 5 for 6. But the question mark is, Shaq Robertson, 7 points, but he had 5 assists. He was able to affect the game in other aspects, because normally we look for him to be a scorer, but he was able to, dish the ball out and get guys off the pass, and that was the big thing for them. They shared the ball well, 29 assists. So,
yeah, you can't ask much more for Texas Tech to be well-rounded like that. Sun Devils go on and beat USC. These are some low-tier teams, and I thought this game was going to be real close. I actually thought the Trojans might try to pull that one off, but
I thought they were. They was blowing them out for the most part, but then, in the beginning, USC ran out to a lead, a good lead at that, and they was doing really well, and then, but Arizona State settled in, took the lead, and had the lead for a while, and
Nash had 17 points, Washington with 12, Moon with 11 points and 8 rebounds. For the Trojans, Chris Walker had 15 points, Watson with 14 points and 4 rebounds, and Knight had 14 points and 12 rebounds. So, somebody was crashing the board.
He was out there. Yeah, they played really well. It's just USC wasn't deep enough to hang with them. I mean, Barrett the fourth, he went 1 for 6. He struggled from the field. Xander Scott, he struggled as well, 2 for 9. Vasquez, 1 for 5. Those guys hit a couple more of those shots, and it's a different ball game.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't get that win, but keep at it. Next one up, Georgetown 88, UConn 67. Georgetown, last week Mojo Rising had the game, but this week it was Black with 14 points, 4 assists, Magnum with 14 points, and Carlton with 13 points. For UConn, Murphy had 12 points, Copeland had 12 points and 9 rebounds, and Corbett had 9 points. So Georgetown again showing that their team with some depth and can spread that talent around. It doesn't just, you can't just shut down one person off of Georgetown and expect to win. They're going to show you that they can utilize every player on their team. I haven't even heard from Magnum and stuff, and all of a sudden he in the top 3 scorers for that team.
Yeah, some games, that's showing that, Georgetown can depend on other guys to get points. Mojo didn't have a horrible game, but he didn't have a great game. 5 for 12, with 12 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. They, played pretty well on Mojo, but it was just showing you that, Mojo's not the whole team. They got other guys on the squad that can get buckets for them. And then it was, a bit of a struggle shooting for Flemings. He looked like one of the main scoring options for UConn off the bench, and he shot a 3 for 10, which is not going to win you games if your guy that you wanted to shoot the ball a lot is missing all those shots. And then Phoenix as well, 2 for 7. He didn't have a good game shooting it, but Murphy had a good had a decent game. Copeland had a good game as well, 12 and 9. Good way to hit the boards and also get be efficient down low, getting some points.
Well, this next game, Oklahoma State versus West Virginia, surprised me. I think that was a lot closer than what Oklahoma State wanted it to be. West Virginia hung in there. They really kept Mike Coco down. He did end up with 11 points and 3 rebounds. Their highest scorer was Caruso with 12 points and 5 rebounds. And then Jones put in 11 points.
Oklahoma State, they have 5 guys in double figures. So that's they got to distribute the ball. 4 of the guys are in the starting lineup, and then the guy off the bench and Jeremiah Dudley, the point guard, they're able to get it going, scoring. But for Oklahoma State, they got those scorers. They just gotta hit more shots. I mean, they played great defense. They held West Virginia to 37% shooting. That's really well. West Virginia was 2 for 15 for 3. They struggled really hard from downtown. But it was a good win for Oklahoma State. They led by as many as 20.
Yeah,
they ended up winning by 17. That's a good win for them.
Yeah, that is a good win, but it's a good showing for West Virginia. Smith had 12 points, 2 rebounds. Rusanov had 11 points, 6 rebounds, and Jenkins ended up with 10 points and 11 rebounds. What is up with these guys with all these rebounds in these games?
Somebody got to get them their shots.
What a upset game this was. UCLA beats Oregon 84-80. Edelman ended up with 21 points, 4 rebounds, Wright with 13, and Duncan with 12 points and 5 assists. For Oregon, Glaze had 26 points, Slash with 11, and Parks with 11. All of us picked Oregon to win this one, and UCLA said, we still in this, and we're going to put up some fight in the Pac-12.
Yeah, they number one, Oregon didn't have no answer for Edelman at the 4. And number 2, Cooksey did not get it going. He struggled, 1 for 8. And they only lost about 4, so that means it was only little mistakes that separated this game. I mean, they couldn't defend shit inside. Excuse my language, because golly. 64 points in the paint for UCLA? was like motherfucking barbecue chicken down there. It was a goddamn block.
Right.
It was a
Like, who they even got to even get in there like that? Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I didn't even
so
see
they scored
that
20 points outside of the paint. They fucking feasted down there. It was Thanksgiving.
Yep. Barbecue chicken.
Shit.
This was a nail biter, buzzer beater.
Oh yeah.
Villanova pulls it off by the skin of their teeth, 80-79. Bryson III had 12 points. Sadie Blunt had 12 points and 9 rebounds. Andrews with 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Shabazz had 18 points, 3 rebounds. Britton Jr., 16 points. And Ricky Vance with 12.7 rebounds and 8 assists. Ricky Vance did everything he could possibly do. And unfortunately, they could not come away with the win over top of Villanova.
Yeah, my boy Ricky Vance. He almost had a triple-double. You know, hitting the glass, getting it, you know, at the on the boards, getting assists, points, but that one play at the end from Bellows hit that jumper, ice in his veins.
That's heartbreaking, man. I think I'd rather just lose by 100 than to lose by 1, because that's just... Man, especially when you got a team like Marquette that's probably going to struggle the rest of the season to get wins. You know, you had this in your back pocket. You just knew you were going to win it. And to just fall 1 point short, it's just heartbreaking. You already know I had to save this game for last. I had to add the numbers on there, so don't be laughing at my ghetto-ness. 110 over 105. Duke wins it over top of Syracuse. Let's get it. I told you guys we were coming out here. We were going to put something on them, change it up a little bit. This was, I think, the highest scoring game in CSBA as far as the total combined points. We put up 215 points total. Gallardo ended up with 20 points, 4 rebounds. Time Lord with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Charles Blayton with 18 points, 4 rebounds. We couldn't stop Warren Lockhart. He had 28 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Sammons had 20 points, 6 assists, and Snyder ended up with 15 points. I believe we kept Charlie Banks down to 14, which was huge for us, but they obviously can distribute the ball somewhere else to Lockhart and get him going down in the paint. It was so hard to control him. We had no answers for him, regardless of who I put on him.
Biggest thing, man. First of all, congrats on the win. Yes. Big win. Y'all came out and played what y'all did well, caused turnovers, and it was aggressive and got to the free throw line. 19 of 19 from the free throw line. Then y'all shot 7 of 11 for 3. Shot it really well. You know, even though Syracuse shot it better, y'all were more efficient. They were more efficient with it, but y'all made it count when it mattered.
Yeah, like that's the surprising part. Like, they shot way better than us, and to still come off with the win. It was just those. It had to be those free throws.
Yeah, those free throws. 19 free throws. 19 for 19. So 19 points from the free throw line. 13 more than Syracuse made. So that's pretty much the game right there at the free throw line. And then you guys forced so many 11 turnovers and got 15 points off those 11 turnovers. So that's really, good that y'all got that going. Y'all defense was on point. You had Time Lord with the blocks. Mikey Williams had 3 steals. Dakota Rain had a steal. They were able to get.
Mikey had 3. So, yeah. I mean, hopefully we
And
can
then
keep that
turnovers.
momentum going into week 6 against Louisville, but we'll
Yeah.
see. All right, chat. This is your time to get involved here on The Shot. We're going over a future conference, and that conference today is the Pac-12. We're going to do like we did last week. Go over your list in order. Who is number 1 to number 6? You want me to go first, or you going first?
It doesn't matter.
All right, I'll go first. I got mine
Go
right
ahead.
now.
Go ahead.
All right, number 1, Gonzaga. Number 2, I went with Oregon State. I feel like they have some of the pieces that could possibly come together and put up a fight. Number 3, I'm going to shock everybody with UCLA. They proved that they can battle. They beat Oregon. I mean, it might have been barely, but they still beat them. I'm going to follow up with number 4 with Oregon. Number 5, Arizona State. And number 6, USC.
Okay.
So that's mine.
Mine was kind of similar. Mine's number 1, the Zag. Number 2, I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna go UCLA. I think UCLA with that win over Oregon, bumps them above Oregon State. I think they can beat Oregon State because they're big down low. Oregon State is missing that big. Remember, they're missing that big force down low. A Turk Maverick replacement, as Mr. Mooney said it earlier.
Gus.
Gus. Yeah. They're missing that big guy down low. So I got UCLA at number 2, and then Oregon State 3, Oregon 4, Arizona State 5, and then USC running out at the bottom at 6.
All right, so it looks like we just kind of flipped back those number 2 and 3s. Chat, if you're in here, who you guys got listed up there as we move on to our weekly pick'ems. I will shout them out as soon as you guys type it in there if anybody's here. Let's take a look at those picks for week 6. I thought week 6 was rival week.
No, that's the last week.
Oh, okay. Well, we into week 6 tonight. UCLA versus Arizona State. We all got UCLA. UCLA for Discord was at 30. I want to say 33 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Miami versus, is it UNC? Yeah, I can't read my own. Hold on, let me go.
Let me look at it.
I believe it's UNC.
Yeah, Miami, UNC.
Either way it is, everybody pick Miami.
Miami, yep, 39-4.
Yeah. Texas Tech versus West Virginia. Landslide, 36-3. Here we go. Oregon State versus USC. Everybody picked the Beavers.
Mm-hmm.
Villanova over UConn. Pretty landslide. There was a lot of landslide picks in this weekly pick'em. Kansas over Baylor. Gonzaga over Oregon. And here's where we switch it up a little bit. I went with Notre Dame over Marquette. You guys, you picked Marquette and Discord picked Marquette. I like how Notre Dame played Villanova last week, and I think they're going to come out there. DJ's going to be a problem. Big man down low against Ricky Vance. But it's probably going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to seeing that game. We all went Oklahoma State over Texas, which, hey, Texas might come out swinging like they did last week. Might upset Oklahoma State. We're going to have to see. B. Mills, he might got that game plan together and try to, get Mike Coco going a little bit. This has been a real struggle for him this season. I haven't seen him play as well as we're used to seeing him play.
They got
Of
a lot
course, Stern
strength.
just says Zaga number one. He doesn't even care about the rest of the whole conference. He just knows Zaga's number one. This next one's going to be really good. Alabama versus Arkansas. We all went Alabama, but Arkansas said they can stick in there too. I don't know if that was a fluke game they had last week or if it was a fluke game for Alabama, but I think that's going to be a good matchup.
I just picked Alabama because I fuck with Ryan. I think Arkansas could definitely win that game. That's a game to watch. That's a sneaky game.
That's a game to watch. Georgetown versus Providence. Unfortunately, with their whole thing that's going on with Providence, it's going to be sad to watch Georgetown roll over top of them, though. But hopefully Providence puts up a good fight. But I don't think they're going to beat Georgetown. Ohio State versus Purdue. Landslide with Ohio State. Here's another mix-up. I'm never going to pick Tennessee, so I went with Florida. And I actually believe in Florida. I think that if they can make those adjustments that we talked about, they can beat Tennessee. But Tennessee is definitely a strong team. If they continue to do what they did against Kentucky, they might be all right.
I'm going to lose my $25 this week.
I'm going to lose too. So I already got it saved out. I'm going to go ahead and hand that over to Toy. But maybe they'll lose tonight or that matchup. Maybe not. Josh Young's in there. Says Texas Tech is number one in the Big 12. We will win March Madness too. We not talking about no Big 12. We talking about the Pac-12. Get out of here. Next matchup, Duke versus Louisville. I'm going for the upset again. Duke, let's go. Let's pull it out. Over Louisville. Louisville is a tough team. They kind of remind me of that Miami matchup, but hopefully we can keep up with them and maybe even pull up another upset. Let's get it. Let's go. And here you go with your Michigan over Iowa.
Yep.
I'm sure Khalil got something to say about that. And, yeah. So does Discord. Discord thinks Iowa's going to beat Michigan.
We'll see. I think we're going to lose the rest of the season.
Oh, dang. Way to be honest, though.
And then we're going to win March Madness.
Oh.
That's how the story goes.
Let's see how that shapes up. Landslide for LSU over Kentucky. Kentucky just, I don't know what's going on with them. They have to go back to what they used to do. Maybe they can make a stand here. But like you said, I'm sure we haven't seen the power rankings. I'm sure they're taking off of the power rankings this week. So they might win this one. Syracuse over Clemson. It's going to be an orange stadium or court this time. But I'm sure Syracuse is about to bounce back here, get their second win. And Michigan State versus Indiana. Everybody picking Michigan State. So which two games is your games of the week?
I'm going to have to say that Alabama, Arkansas, and Alabama, Arkansas, then the Tennessee, Florida. That game is going to be, those two games are going to be good ones to watch.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame and Marquette. And I'm going to also go with that Tennessee and Florida game. I think that's going to be a good one. But nobody wants to tell us in chat what their Pac-12 picks are. Forget y'all too. But hopefully everybody liked the show. Again, special tribute out to Vernon Walker's family and friends. Sorry for your loss. And high school, man, how was that? Did you get to watch those matchups?
I didn't get to watch them, but I looked at the scores.
Come on, high school administrator.
I was at work.
Like you ain't never watched no game at work. Get out of here.
I was catching up on my sleep. I'm sorry. I was catching up on my sleep.
Yeah, you need that.
But IMG moving to 2-0. In high school. Let me pull up these high school box scores. We started. Who was it? IMG and Sierra Canyon. They won by IMG won by 4. They did really well. Got to the free throw line, was really aggressive against Sierra Canyon. Leading scorer for IMG was Cade Leon with 16 points. JB Hook, the big man, with 13 and 6. Off the bench, and then Klemitovicius had the other big man. I don't know how to say his fucking name, but he had 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. So, they did really well. Those high school guys did well for IMG to move to 2-0 in the high school. Another team, Prolific Prep, got their first win on the season, as well as Archbishop Moeller. Both those squads got their first win. Mater Dei, lost that game by 11, but they
didn't win.
Huh?
Prolific Prep didn't win.
They lost. Oh, they're 0-2 then.
Yeah.
There's two. It was written on the website then, but yeah.
They lost against Montverde.
Then Montverde is the other squad that's 2-0 as well. In another win behind the back of Cam Adababo with 12 points. And Storm, the progression blue with 9 and 6. Look at that. He can get some buckets. Good game from him. And other guys on that squad. So Archbishop Moeller looking really well so far. And Mater Dei, back to the drawing board. They're 0-2. They got some good pieces on that squad. A good game from Brennan Burmeister with 13 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And Al Thor with 8 and 5. But they just got to get some production from some other guys. Donovan Sniper kind of struggled a little bit, 1 for 10, but it's high school. It's just your free. This is your good chance to see your guy. Free preview of him. Before he hits the college ranks and see what he needs to work on before they get to the college ranks.
Yeah, like Khalil said, take it in before you make it to the college level. These coaches going to be watching these games and trying to figure out the pieces that they need for this next season. I actually did get to watch the IMG and Sierra Canyon matchup. It was a really good game, close game until that fourth quarter, and IMG pulled it out at the end, but it's got some great players there. Some of the guys are senior players or early declarees, so they already know the ropes. But I'm looking forward to those true freshmen and new players that don't know too much about the league and stuff and trying to create their players. So hopefully they got some great coaches that can kind of coach them up and guide them along before they make it to the big boys in the CSBA college group. And but yeah, so we're looking forward. Sorry I didn't have any graphics for the high school, but I'll make sure I get that in for the next episode. I know we kind of went a little long. It's 7:03. We get ready for some CSBA action tonight. That UCLA matchup and the Miami and Texas Tech, I believe, is the matchups tonight. So looking forward to those and appreciate everybody for coming in to the shot with me and Dicky. We are going to be back here next Monday at 6 o'clock with some good material and hopefully some great storylines that come in. Hopefully we get some more drama going in. It hasn't really been too much drama in the league, so hopefully we get some big upsets and some more things we can discuss and argue about.
For sure.
But yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we're gonna see